Finkel. And please welcome the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Welcome to the Dayspring Community Center. I'm going to give you 60 seconds on what this place is all about and then introduce someone that needs no introduction. So this is the Dayspring Community Center. This is a new central hub for the Nodine Hill neighborhood here in Yonkers. We offer full service programming for young people, for adults, really a full service youth and adult education concept right here in the center of our community. Free summer camp here, so our kids today are happily upstairs until they take over this basketball court in a few minutes. I want to thank our center director, J.C. Soto, for pulling this off. We have a million partners here, and our one partner that's here with us every day. Dayspring's also a Center for New Americans and offers a full suite of ESL and vocational training, and that's our partner Neighbors Link, who's here with us today. But what makes it really cool is that we also built brand new affordable housing next door for 63 families, including 37 formerly homeless families. So together, the Dayspring Community Center and Dayspring Commons, the residents, make this Dayspring campus, make this new investment in this community. That's what West Hab's all about, and that's partly why this was such a joy to host today. West Hab stands for anything that makes our community more affordable and more vibrant. So it's really my pleasure to introduce the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Kathy Hochul.
Good morning. Now, I just realized that we're on a basketball court. Unfortunately, I'd be probably hitting some members of the press if I attempted what I usually do when I'm on a court, but it is great to be here. Rich, this is extraordinary for you and the entire organization, West Hab, to see the possibilities of a building, a church that's been here for over 150 years, and to bring new life and activity and a sense of hope and purpose. And the people, the children, all the way up to the seniors who walk in these doors are going to have a better day following that adventure into this space. And I want to thank you. And I want to see places like this replicated all over the state. So thank you for what you're doing here today. Thank you. Always great to be back in Yonkers, especially when I'm joined by someone who knows this community and represents it with such heart and passion, as well as the rest of the state. But I know she's got a special place in her heart for Yonkers, and that is our amazing Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins. Thank you. Thank you. And she also has one of the bills that we're signing today, too. So this is a special treat to have this occur in your home community here. So also Senator Michelle Hinchy, one of our other bill sponsors, thank you for joining us as well. Another bill sponsor, Assemblymember Tom Avenatti, so thank you, Tom. Assemblymember Stephen Engelbright is here, another one of our sponsors. You've heard of the other elected officials. Also Beth Finkel, what a champion she is for our senior citizens. I mean, she does an extraordinary job as the state director of AARP. Any seniors in the house? All right, come on. Okay, anybody got the card? I got the card. Okay, all right. Well, there's a real sense of pride and joy in aging in the state of New York because we do it right here. Beth knows we've been recognized a number of times for being one of those places where we just really focus on the needs of all of our citizens, but particularly those who've given so much over their lifetime, and to honor them with the dignity of a good home and health care and services. I mean, this is how we pay back them for what they've done for all of us, and that's why I'm really delighted to be here with them as well. I did want to also mention a couple other elected officials who are here. I'm joined by our Congressman, Jamal Bowman. I want to thank him for And also, I do want to give a shout out, even though they aren't bill sponsors, they've joined us here today. They represent this area, and that is our Senator Shelley Mayer's joined us. Senator Pete Harcum has joined us. Steve Otis is here. Senator Elijah Reckland-Melnick is here. I don't know if she's here too. Assembly Member Fernandez has joined us from the Bronx, and Gina Soletti, Assembly Member Gina Soletti. So I didn't realize we had so many people here. It's like the whole place is filled with elected officials. So listen, let's talk about our seniors for a minute. When you think about the pandemic, and the communities and the individuals and the age groups hit the hardest by the isolation, those who were in nursing homes or senior facilities or congregate settings, or just even if they lived on their own but had to go through 2 years of isolation from seeing their family members, their children, their normal caregivers, their grandkids, all the milestones that were missed, not seeing their grandchild's graduation or a wedding or a religious celebration like a baptism. I mean, so much was missed. And life can be lonely when you're a senior anyhow. You may have lost a loved one, a spouse, you're just feeling disconnected. And then you come off after the pandemic, you're feeling better about life. We've got COVID under control. You've had your vaccine, you've had your booster. And then another dynamic happens. I mean, you're living on a fixed income because you're not out there earning income any further. So you might have a pension, maybe you don't. But life is hard as it is. And then we start seeing the cost of living escalate. Everything from gasoline to your groceries to your monthly payments. And all of a sudden, after coming through a pandemic, when you wanted to just open up to the rest of the world and say, we're back, we have this crushing weight that's thrust upon you through no fault of your own. And it is tough. It's tough on everybody, but especially our seniors who can't say that I now have another way to bring in money. I mean, that's why when you go to McDonald's, it's not unlike it you waited on by someone who already thought they were done working, but they're back there just trying to earn that income. I know because I've talked to them. And maybe they like the connection with other people, but I guarantee there's a lot more fun things to be doing than doing what they're doing. They do it out of necessity. So as a society, as a state that values our people, especially our senior citizens, for all they've done for us, we need to find more ways to help them through these tough times. And that's what my administration has pledged to do since our very first State of the State a few months back, working with the legislature. Legislature, this is your priority as well. You've always put a spotlight on our seniors, and I'm grateful for that. But now they need more support than ever, and we've already completed construction of over 13 housing units of senior housing just this year alone, 1,300 new housing units. That's part of our $25 billion housing plan. $300 million for senior housing alone. That's why we've also expanded eligibility for heating and cooling benefits. I mean, my God, it's so hot out. The bills are going through the roof. So now we've helped our seniors be able to stay a little cooler during this heat wave and warmer during the winter months. We also raised the Medicaid income limit. No one had touched that for a long time. You know, a lot of these are like, oh, it's just too much. Well, sometimes things are expensive, but they need to be done. Just take care of people. We raised it for seniors 65 and up and people with disabilities, so it's over 139% of the poverty level. This needed to be done, long overdue. We raised the income limit for the Medicaid savings program as well. And we improved assistance for food as well, helping increase eligibility for the SNAP program for older adults and people with disabilities. So today we're going to build on that even more. We're going to keep finding ways to help lift them up. And in a few moments, I'll be signing 3 bills, 2 of which are dedicated to what I'm talking about, just making it a little easier, a little less expensive for older homeowners in our state. And one will just make it easier to become a homeowner in the first place. So the first, yeah, there you go. Amen to that. Amen, amen to that. So for the first one, I want to thank Majority Leader Andre Stewart Cousins for being the sponsor in the Senate. Assemblymember Tom Avenatti in the Assembly. And this expands the property tax exemptions for people over 65 and people living with disabilities. This has not been touched since 2009. Do you know what the cap is to be able to receive a property tax exemption in the state of New York? It is $29,000. Okay, I don't think we're covering a lot of people with that cap. That's roughly our state's minimum wage. But we said, and the leader was such a strong proponent of making sure this happened, she says we need to raise this. We're allowing local governments to raise that minimum, not $29,000, not $30,000, but up to $50,000, and we'll sign that and make that the law. So let's give them the tax relief they deserve. The second program is going to improve something known as the Residential Emergency Services to offer repairs to the elderly. Why is that such a long title? Because you shorten it, it stands for Restore. Okay, that's a nicer sound. We're going to talk about the Restore program. But a lot of seniors live in their homes, and maybe the first home they were married in. I've seen that plenty of times. They've raised their children there, the children are gone, maybe a spouse is gone, and they're still living in that home. But the cost of repairs, things start breaking down. It just can be something that, thrusts someone into poverty if they can't fix something that's essential. So I want to thank Senator Michelle Hinchy for her leadership, and Assembly Member Carrie Werner, who couldn't be with us here today, for helping improve the flexibility there, because a lot of times there's violations, and if they don't fix the violation, they can't stay in their home. That's really a tragedy when living conditions do become unsafe, though, and they have to be fixed. So we're going to be providing financial resources for low and moderate income senior citizen homeowners so they can afford to do this, help with housing emergencies, help them with the code violations they might be citing for. So right now they're supposed to have certain construction deadlines with supply chains. They're not likely to meet them, so we're expanding those to 60 days, as well as doubling the maximum costs for that as well. From $10,000, we'll give them $20,000 under this program. So we'll expand more money, more time to get the construction done, and so that's just a recognition that life is changing. So that'll help more seniors stay in their homes, which is a great outcome as well, something we want to see so they can be independent. Like my dad's living in his home right now. I just talked to him. He's still living in his home at 86, which we're very blessed that is what is occurring. But the third bill we want to sign here today, not to do with current seniors, but certainly helps future seniors. And those are our youngest, and the young people that, we're trying to build wealth. How do you build wealth? You buy that first home, and it improves. You take care of it, and it increases in value, and that's how you start building wealth. And that has been a dream that has been too elusive for too many New Yorkers for too long. So the third bill we have will extend the property tax exemptions for first-time home buyers all the way through 2028 instead of having it expire. And I want to thank Steve Engelbright. I want to thank him, Assembly Member, and also Senator Brian Kavanaugh, who sponsored this in the Senate. So before that, these are for new homes, these would have expired by the end of this year. So that would have been all over. Would have made it a lot tougher, especially when interest rates are going up. So that would have just been the combination that would have kept too many people from being able to buy that first home. So it helps, all these bills help people put down their roots, feel stable, feel protected, because we know that this is such an important thing we can offer our citizens. Give them the dignity to have a good life when they're older, but also give them an opportunity when they're younger to start on that path toward home ownership. So that's what we're all about here today. Improving the lives of New Yorkers, our seniors, people with disability, young people trying to have that first home, maybe like their parents were able to do. And that is why I'm so proud today to be joined by the leaders who brought this to the forefront from our state legislature. And with that, I want to call up the leader of all leaders, and that is the Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins. Thank you.
Good morning. So I'm beaming because we are doing something that we know is so important to so many. And the fact that the governor would be here in my district in this amazing, amazing space with so many of our not only electeds, but community members to celebrate housing, keeping people in their homes, seniors, new home buyers, and the understanding that New York is about creating affordable and affordability is something that makes me so happy. So, Governor, thank you so much for being who you are and being here. I was also thinking about the kinds of things that we've been signing before. You know, we've stood fighting back against so much of what has happened on the Supreme Court, whether we're fighting back with a package that will allow us to have, gun safety in New York, whether we are fighting for women's rights. We were signing a package to make sure that women know that their right to an abortion is safe here in New York. We actually also, I was with you with the signing for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Making sure that in New York, people can exercise their franchise. We've been so many places fighting back that I'm happy again that when we come to Yonkers, because we were here to not just fight back, but to talk about the amazing amount of money that we have injected into our education system here and around the state, as well as expanding pre-K. So this is a governor and a legislature that is on the move. And sometimes, we were all talking about it backstage, about, we don't have the messaging and why can't we just figure it out? Because we are so busy trying to make sure that every single segment of our population that needs us to stand up and to push forward on behalf of everyday people, no matter who they are and what they represent. We are so busy meeting those needs that we have not, I guess, done a great job at marketing what we do. How sad. How very, very sad. Because we are changing the lives of people who will now be able, thank you, Senator Hinchy, and Senator Engelbright, Senator, I promoted you, Assemblyman Engelbright, Assemblyman Avenanti, and Senator Kavanaugh is not here. But thank you for making sure that we are addressing what we know is a real problem. I represent a district. This district is part of, I also represent Scarsdale and everybody in between. I see, Mayor Roach here from White Plains. The reality is that I've got seniors who are house rich and cash poor. I got people who are sitting in front of million-dollar houses and on a very tiny fixed income. And heaven forbid they should try and get more income, they'd be subjected to higher taxes on a property they can barely afford. Heaven forbid something goes wrong and you gotta fix this thing and you still don't have the money. Heaven forbid you'd like to help your children get a home, to live in the community, and you not only don't have the resources, you can't give them your property, and they can't afford it. Today is a day that looks at all those life situations, and because of an amazing, amazing legislature, amazing leadership, an amazing governor, we are saying to people, We see you. We hear you. We understand you. You don't have to come out of the shadows, and that's the other part of it. People don't want to come out of the shadows because they're embarrassed that they can't afford their home and that they can't make a repair. They're embarrassed that they have to be that person at the checkout counter making sure that you can scan your code, at 73. They're embarrassed to talk about where they are. So what we're doing today, and again, I want to thank my colleagues, the ones that are named, again, like Senator Hinchy, who, she's up north, and, her committee is agriculture, and yet she understood the importance of dealing with seniors, meeting them where they are, and also our chair of the Aging Committee, who couldn't be here, Senator Rachel May. I want to thank Senator Shelley Mayer, Senator Pete Harcum, Senator Elijah Reichlin-Melnick, to join Senator Kavanaugh and me. I don't usually sponsor bills. I'm so busy shepherding them through that I don't usually have a bill in these packages. But thank you for making it easy for all of us, and for me in particular, and also my Assembly colleagues. Thank you so much, Steve and Tom, and the other Steve, got two Steves here, for helping us to create an environment where New York not only leads, but we don't just lead because you're screaming. We lead when we know you can't scream. We lead when we know that you have to be quiet, and that's why you support us. And I want to give a shout out to our Congressman Bowman, because I know on the House, you've been trying to get things done to help us, and I've been crying. I'm like, y'all are telling me this, telling me that, and what you doing? Well, it looks like this week you're going to do something that will also help the seniors. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I just want to also, I know Natalia Fernandez, you're in the back, but hello, Natalia. But she too in the Assembly, trying to make a move. But we are really grateful for the partnership, and certainly for Speaker Hastie. Before I get, I want to acknowledge some of my local officials who I don't think that, Councilwoman Shanae Williams. I think Legislator Tubiola was mentioned, were you? Yes, and Christopher Johnson. Okay, any other locals? Yeah, Christopher Johnson, County Legislator. Do you have New York City? Oh, Vedant. Hi, Vedant. Vedant, I guess you were registered. Okay. From New York? No. Yeah? Oh, my mayor. Ah, that's one of my other mayors, Mayor McKenzie. Yes, I'm looking at her. You looked a little like the speaker in New York City. And I'm like, doesn't she? And I'm like, is that speaker? No, okay, so that's Mayor Peekskill. Anyway, thank you, and thank you, Beth, for AARP. When I was in the county legislature, let's give it up for AARP and the. When I was in the county legislature, and the county legislature, remember, AARP, when we were doing our meetings, they're always there. When I got up to the state, AARP was sitting there with their red shirts, making sure that we did the right thing for seniors. Thank you for AARP's leadership, and let's just do this bill signing. Thank you so very, very much.
Please welcome to the podium Senator Michelle Hinchy.
Hello, thank you everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here on this incredibly exciting day. Governor Hochul, thank you for signing these incredibly important bills. Majority Leader, thank you for just being such a powerhouse and wonderful leader. We couldn't do anything in our legislature without you, so thank you. The communities that I represent in the Hudson Valley, Catskills, and the Capital Region are on the front lines of New York's housing crisis. With historic inflation hitting people hard, making it difficult to afford their homes and to stay in the communities that raise them, and in the worst circumstances, it's displaced those who can no longer afford to live there. During the pandemic, the cities of Kingston and Hudson were the two most moved to places in the country, which pushed our already fragile housing supply further to the brink and had catastrophic repercussions for many of our neighbors, but especially our seniors who are living on fixed incomes. Seniors are the fastest growing population segment statewide, and it's incumbent that we deliver real relief that will help them age safely in the homes and communities they've always known. And that's why we're here today. Right now, thousands of seniors across New York are living in homes that are unsafe because they cannot afford the cost of repairs, and that is truly unacceptable. Our Restore bill seeks to change that by making it more affordable to make emergency home repairs for low to moderate income seniors. We're also creating jobs in the construction trades by helping local contractors meet this moment challenged by supply chains and other issues so that they can expand the timeline for these projects. We want our seniors to remain an integral part of our communities, and with the signing of this bill today, we are setting people up to remain safely in their homes. Every person deserves the dignity and security of safe and stable housing, and I'm incredibly proud to sponsor this bill to make life more affordable for some of our most vulnerable community members. I want to thank Assemblymember Carrie Warner and the rural housing advocates who we worked with on this bill. And I want to thank our Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, for her leadership in bringing this bill forward, and Governor Hochul for signing this bill into law today. Their commitment to addressing the affordability crisis with real solutions for New Yorkers across our state has never been more needed or more important. Thank you very much. It's now my honor to introduce a great partner in government, Assemblyman Avenatti.
Still in the morning. Good morning. I want to welcome the governor to Westchester County. Thank you very much for joining us here. You know, those of us who are seniors look around at a place like this and we say, they really did a good job back in those days, didn't they? I'm thinking back to 1964 when Dionne Warwick recorded "A House Is Not a Home." And I'm thinking about all of the seniors who would lose not just a house, but a home if we don't step up. What is a home? It's a place where there was love, a place where there was caring, a place with a history of good vibes of the people who live there. And government property taxes should not be taking homes away from people. We recognized that our seniors built our community. They built this. I don't know how many of them are still around who built this, but I don't think any of them. But there are so many other buildings in Yonkers and throughout our state that were built by the seniors who are now struggling to stay in their homes. And I want to commend the governor because she's been there as a good partner for the legislature. We've done so many good things to help people stay in their homes. The senator will remember, together we did a circuit breaker to make sure that those who are paying more of their income for property taxes than they could afford are going to get some help from the state. And we've got to build on that year after year. That's the way we've got to go. And the governor came up with a program where we're sending checks to people to help subsidize their property taxes. And many of us, my colleagues here, we've all sponsored different bills to try to give local governments alternative ways of raising money rather than property taxes. So the message is very clear, and I applaud the governor for coming here to do this publicly. New York cares. We care. We want New Yorkers to continue living in their homes, continue in a community where they have a structure, where they have friends, where they have families, and where they're comfortable for as long as they want to live. So I want to thank the governor for coming down, for signing this bill publicly, for telling the seniors publicly, hold your local governments responsible. Make sure you do this for us, guys. Make sure you do this for us. Come January, all you seniors, go tell your local governments you want this. So once again, Governor, thank you for being such a great partner and a great leader. Thank you all for coming.
Please welcome to the podium Assembly Member Steve Engelbrecht.
Yes, my colleague from Long Island, another suburban legislator who understands the pressures of the high cost of living, and the chair of our Environment Committee. Steve, it's all yours.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. You know, when you look at the adult lifespan, there's magic when you bring the youth and the elderly together. And that's what you have done today, Governor, in signing these bills. You have merged the youth and the elders into a spirit of optimism through your signature on those bills. I'm very, very privileged to have sponsored the bill that extends the date to 2028 of the extensions for first-time home buyers. And young working families very often have a very hard time getting started. But once started, they write the next chapter for their communities and for our state. And you've helped them. And for those who have already helped the pioneers of suburbia, as Tom has indicated, suburbia is an important part of our state, but all of the children of our family of New York at the senior level need to know that they have a home here. We don't want them to take their pensions and go to Florida. We want them to stay here, and you have made it easier for that. At the beginning, you made the remarks, Governor, that you said we need to keep lifting people up. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for signing these bills today. You have lifted us all up. Thank you very much. By the way, I chaired the Committee on Aging for 6 years, and I had the privilege of working with the person I'm just about to introduce, Beth Finkel, the State Director of AARP. Would you join us up here, please?
I thought it was a prank. Somebody was pinning something on my back. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much. AARP is very excited to be here today on behalf of our 2.5 million members all across New York State. And Westchester is a stronghold for us. I know you all know that. And our members are 50 plus. So we really want to thank you both for today's seniors, but for our up-and-coming seniors, and as the governor said before, for the young people who hopefully one day will still be here and have a strong stake in our communities. We really, really are excited about these bills today that are going to be signed because we know they're going to get right to the heart of what people need to stay in their own communities. And I know this was mentioned before, but you know, AARP surveys our members a lot. For those of you who are members, you know we survey you all a lot. And we know that almost 8 out of 10 seniors want to stay in their own homes and communities that they built. And just as you were saying, they built this, they built everything in our communities, and we're so appreciative of that. So I want to say that with the pandemic and inflation, what it is, and how hard that is for folks, these bills get right to the heart of addressing that and allowing people to stay with their friends, their families, and their neighbors. And so I want to thank you all today for coming for these programs. And I also just want to remind you all that New York was the first age-friendly state in the country, and dozens have followed suit And Governor, you might remember that you were there to announce it and to celebrate it for us back in 2017. And ever since then, this state has made good on that promise to be the best age-friendly state in the country. And this just builds on that. So I want to thank all of you so much today. We're looking forward to working with you on more age-friendly accomplishments. And now to the bill signing. Thank you. Oh, you did come. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were there.
See ya.
Green County.
Done a few of these so far. I know you sent over 1,007, so I've had